The Galactic Sports Federation's announcement rocks Earth. Our planet will host the Intergalactic Olympics. Humanity reels, thrust into a universe teeming with alien civilizations. Screens worldwide broadcast the stunning revelation. Faces of all colors gape at the blue-skinned Acamarian delegation stepping from their sleek starship. Wayne Holmes, 28, former Olympic decathlete, watches the news in his modest apartment. His muscled frame tenses as he learns of his selection as Earth's representative. The weight of humanity's hopes settles on his broad shoulders. Jada, Acamarian princess and star athlete, leads her team down the ship's ramp. Her graceful movements captivate the assembled crowd. Wayne's breath catches as he sees her on his television. Their eyes seem to meet across the impossible distance. The Acamarians' advanced technology dwarfs human achievements. Their representatives speak of Earth as a quaint backwater, barely worth their time. They've come to showcase their superiority, not compete as equals. In response, Earth's scientists work overtime. Wayne and his fellow athletes undergo rigorous genetic enhancements. Training intensifies, muscles strain, bones ache. Yet the Acamarians continue to outperform humans in every pre-Olympic event. Resentment festers among Earth's population. Streets fill with protesters decrying the aliens' presence. Others demand more extreme measures to level the playing field. Wayne pushes himself harder, determined to prove humanity's worth. Jada observes Wayne during a training session. His dedication surprises her. She watches him repeat a high jump, failing again and again, only to rise and try once more. A seed of doubt about human inferiority takes root in her mind. The International Olympic Committee faces unprecedented challenges. How can they adapt pole vaulting for species with tentacles? What about swimming events for creatures who breathe methane? Debates rage. Committees form and dissolve in rapid succession. Earth cities transform to accommodate the influx of alien visitors. Methane-rich habitats rise next to oxygen-rich hotels. Gravity generators ensure comfort for species used to stronger or weaker pulls. The logistical nightmare threatens to overwhelm human organizers. Wayne stands at the base of the Olympic cauldron, torch in hand. Billions watch as he ascends the steps, a symbol of humanity's determination to claim its place among the stars. The flame ignites, and a cheer rises from the assembled crowd. In the stadium, Wayne's eyes scan the alien delegations. They lock onto Jada's. A spark of recognition, of connection, passes between them. As the ceremony unfolds, both feel the weight of their roles, their cultures, and the growing attraction neither can deny. The Intergalactic Olympics begin. Earth stands ready to face the challenges ahead, with Wayne and Jada at the center of a competition that will determine humanity's galactic standing and perhaps change the course of two hearts. As the Olympic flame danced atop the cauldron, casting its warm glow over the stadium, Wayne's eyes remained locked with Jada's. The moment stretched, electric with possibility, until the thunderous applause of the crowd broke their connection. Wayne blinked, suddenly aware of the weight of the torch in his hand and the expectations of billions resting on his shoulders. The following morning, Wayne woke to the sound of his alarm, his muscles already aching from the rigorous training. He stretched, feeling the enhancements coursing through his body, a constant reminder of how far humanity had gone to compete on this intergalactic stage. The Olympic Village buzzed with activity as athletes from across the galaxy prepared for the day's events. Wayne made his way to the training grounds, passing by creatures of all shapes and sizes. A group of tentacled beings wrapped themselves around pull-up bars, while methane breathers jogged by in their protective suits. As Wayne began his warm-up routine, he spotted Jada across the field. She moved with fluid grace, her blue skin glistening under the morning sun. He found himself mesmerized by her movements, only to be snapped back to reality by a sharp voice. "Focus, Holmes," his coach barked. "The decathlon starts in an hour. You need to be in top form." Wayne nodded, forcing himself to concentrate on the task at hand. The events began, and he found himself thrust into a whirlwind of competition unlike anything he'd ever experienced. In the 100-meter sprint, Wayne pushed himself to the limit, his enhanced muscles straining against the laws of physics. He crossed the finish line in fourth place, outpaced by 3 alien competitors whose evolved anatomies gave them a clear advantage. The long jump proved equally challenging. Wayne watched in awe as a competitor from a low-gravity planet soared through the air, covering a distance that seemed impossible by human standards. When his turn came, Wayne channeled all his strength and technique into the jump, managing to secure a respectable fifth place. As the day wore on, Wayne found himself consistently placing in the middle of the pack. The ache in his muscles grew, but so did his willpower. He caught glimpses of Jada dominating her events, her performances drawing gasps of admiration from the crowd. The pole vault competition arrived, and Wayne felt a mix of dread and excitement. He had always excelled at this event, but the alien competition was fierce. As he waited for his turn, he overheard two Akamarian athletes discussing the primitive human attempts at the sport. Wayne gripped his pole tighter, a fire igniting in his chest. When his name was called, he approached the runway with steely perseverance. The bar was set at a height that would be a new human record, a height that seemed to taunt him with its impossibility. He took a deep breath, visualizing the jump. The world around him faded away as he began his approach. His steps quickened, the pole planted, and he launched himself skyward. Time seemed to slow as he twisted his body, arching over the bar. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed he wouldn't make it. Then, with a final push, he cleared the bar, landing on the mat with a thud. The stadium erupted in cheers as Wayne realized what he'd accomplished. He'd not only set a new human record, but secured a bronze medal in the process. As he stood on the podium, bronze medal gleaming around his neck, Wayne felt a surge of pride. He had proven that humans could compete on this intergalactic stage. The crowd's cheers washed over him, a mix of human and alien voices united in appreciation of his achievement. After the ceremony, as Wayne made his way back to the athletes' area, a familiar blue figure approached him. Jada, her own gold medal hanging from her neck, offered him a smile that made his heart race. "Impressive performance," she said, her voice melodic and slightly accented. "I've never seen a human jump like that." Wayne felt a flush creep up his neck. "Thank you," he managed to reply. "Your events were incredible too. I've never seen anyone move like you do." They stood there, an awkward but charged silence between them, until a gruff voice interrupted. "Princess Jada," Commander Zorn called out, his tone sharp with disapproval. "It's time for our team meeting." Jada's smile faltered slightly. "I should go," she said, her eyes lingering on Wayne. "But perhaps we'll talk again soon." As she walked away, Wayne couldn't help but feel that something significant had just transpired. He was so lost in thought that he barely noticed his roommate Marcus Chen approach. "Wayne, man, what are you doing?" Marcus hissed, glancing nervously at the retreating Akamarians. "You can't get involved with her. It's too complicated." Wayne sighed, running a hand through his hair. I know. It's just, there's something about her." As they walked back to their quarters, neither of them noticed the shadowy figure observing from a distance, speaking quietly into a communication device. "The human has exceeded expectations. The cosmic confluence will be pleased. Proceed with the next phase." The first week of the Olympics continued, each day bringing new challenges and surprises. Wayne pushed himself harder than ever, his performances improving with each event. The human team began to gain more attention, their resilience and adaptability earning grudging respect from some alien delegations. One evening, as Wayne was returning from a late training session, he found a small, glowing orb in his locker. As he picked it up, it projected a holographic message. "Meet me at the Earth Cultural Center at midnight. Spapos J." His heart raced as he read the message. Despite the warnings from Marcus and his own better judgment, Wayne knew he would go. As he prepared for bed, his mind swirled with thoughts of Jada and the potential consequences of their growing connection. Little did he know that their clandestine meeting would set in motion events that would reshape not just their lives, but the future of Earth in the galactic community. Wayne's heart raced as he approached the Earth Cultural Center, the glowing orb tucked safely in his pocket. The night air was cool against his skin as he scanned the area for any signs of Jada. A flash of blue caught his eye, and he saw her emerge from the shadows, her lithe form moving with grace even in the darkness. "You came," Jada whispered, her eyes shimmering with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Wayne nodded, a smile tugging at his lips. I couldn't stay away, but we can't stay here. I want to show you something. Taking her hand, Wayne led Jada away from the Olympic Village, their footsteps nearly silent on the pavement. They moved swiftly through the city streets, avoiding the main thoroughfares until they reached the outskirts. Before them stretched a vast expanse of trees, their leaves rustling gently in the night breeze. A nature reserve, Wayne explained as they entered the forest. I thought you might like to see a bit of Earth's wild side. Jada's eyes widened as they ventured deeper into the woods. The moonlight filtered through the canopy, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. She reached out to touch the rough bark of a towering oak, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns. It's so different from Akamar, she murmured. Our forests are all cultivated, every tree and plant carefully selected and placed. This feels alive. As they walked, Wayne pointed out various plants and animals, watching with delight as Jada marveled at each new discovery. An owl hooted in the distance, causing her to jump slightly. Wayne instinctively placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, and their eyes met in the silvery light. For a moment, neither spoke. The air between them seemed to crackle with unspoken emotions. Wayne found himself leaning closer, drawn by an invisible force. Jada's breath hitched, her lips parting slightly. A twig snapped nearby, breaking the spell. They both started, suddenly aware of their surroundings again. Wayne cleared his throat, leading them to a small clearing where the trees opened up to reveal a breathtaking view of the night sky. I've never seen stars like this, Jada said, her voice filled with wonder. On Akamar, our cities are too bright. We've lost touch with the stars. Wayne lay back on the soft grass, and after a moment's hesitation, Jada joined him. They gazed up at the vast expanse of the universe, a comfortable silence settling between them. Tell me about your home, Wayne said softly. Jada began to speak, her words painting a picture of a world of towering crystal spires and shimmering oceans. Wayne listened, captivated by her descriptions and the sound of her voice. In turn, he shared stories of Earth, its diverse cultures and landscapes. As they talked, their hands found each other, fingers intertwining. The contact sent a jolt through Wayne, and he saw Jada's skin flush a deeper shade of blue. Their moment of connection was shattered by the sudden roar of engines. Bright lights cut through the darkness, and Wayne bolted upright, his heart pounding. They've found us, Jada gasped, fear evident in her voice. Wayne scrambled to his feet, pulling Jada up with him. This way, he urged, leading her deeper into the forest. They ran, dodging trees and leaping over fallen logs. Wayne's enhanced physique allowed him to move with speed and agility, while Jada's natural Akamarian grace kept her close behind. The sounds of pursuit grew louder, voices shouting orders in both human and alien languages. As they crested a small hill, Wayne spotted a dilapidated structure ahead. Without hesitation, he guided Jada towards it, hoping to find temporary shelter. The building loomed before them, its concrete walls overgrown with vines. A faded sign read, "Restricted Area, Government Property." Wayne and Jada exchanged a glance before slipping inside through a broken window. The interior was dark and musty. As their eyes adjusted, they found themselves in what appeared to be an abandoned laboratory. Dust-covered equipment lined the walls, and file cabinets stood like silent sentinels in the corners. "What is this place?" Jada whispered, her fingers trailing over a control panel. Before Wayne could respond, a low hum filled the air. Lights flickered to life, and a holographic display materialized in the center of the room. Images flashed before them. Human DNA strands intertwined with alien genetic material, test subject data, and project codes. "Oh my God," Wayne breathed, his palms sweating from the implications. "They've been experimenting with alien DNA." Jada's face paled. This is forbidden. The Galactic Council explicitly bans genetic manipulation between species. As they delved deeper into the files, a horrifying picture emerged. The experiments were part of a larger plan, orchestrated by an organization called the Cosmic Confluence. Their goal appeared to be accelerating Earth's integration into the galactic community through controlled genetic evolution. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Metal shutters slammed down over the windows and doors, trapping them inside. "We need to get out of here," Wayne said urgently, scanning the room for an escape route. Jada moved to a nearby console, her fingers flying over the alien interface. "I can bypass the security systems, but it'll take time." Outside, they could hear Commander Zorn's booming voice demanding Jada's immediate return. Earth's security forces argued back, insisting on following proper protocols. As Jada worked to disable the security measures, Wayne gathered as much data as he could, knowing they would need evidence to support their discovery. Minutes ticked by, feeling like hours. Finally, with a satisfying beep, the shutters began to rise. Wayne and Jada shared a look of relief, but they knew their ordeal was not nearly finished. As the first rays of dawn broke through the trees, they stepped out of the facility to face the assembled security forces. Commander Zorn's face was a mask of fury, while the human officials looked torn between anger and confusion. Wayne raised his hands slowly, acutely aware of the weapons trained on them. "We need to talk," he said, his voice steady despite the tension. "What we've found changes everything." The evidence in their possession forced both sides to lower their weapons, if only temporarily. As Wayne and Jada were led away for questioning, they exchanged a final glance, silently acknowledging the bond that had formed between them and the challenges that lay ahead. The Olympic Village buzzed with activity as news of the night's event spread. Wayne found himself under house arrest, confined to his quarters as officials debated his fate. Through his window, he could see the Akamarian ship, knowing that Jada was similarly detained. As he sat on the edge of his bed, the weight of their discoveries pressing down on him, Wayne couldn't help but wonder, what would this mean for the Olympics, for Earth's future, and for the connection he'd forged with Jada? The answers remained elusive, but one thing was certain. Nothing would ever be the same again. The tension in the Olympic Village was palpable as Wayne sat in his quarters, his mind racing with the implications of their discovery. The confinement felt suffocating, but he knew it was just the beginning of a storm that would shake the very foundations of the intergalactic games. A sharp knock on his door broke the silence. Wayne's heart leapt, hoping it might be news about Jada, but instead he found himself face-to-face with a stern-looking IOC official. "Mr. Holloway, your presence is required at an emergency session," the official stated, his tone leaving no room for argument. As Wayne was escorted through the village, he caught glimpses of other athletes whispering and pointing. News traveled fast, even in the vast expanse of the intergalactic community. The IOC chambers were a cacophony of voices, human and alien alike, all vying to be heard. Wayne was ushered to a seat, feeling the weight of countless eyes upon him. At the far end of the room, he spotted Jada, her blue skin a stark contrast to the sea of faces surrounding her. Their eyes met briefly, a flicker of understanding passing between them. Hours passed as arguments flew back and forth. Wayne's fate, and by extension the fate of the human team, hung in the balance. He listened intently, his fists clenched under the table as accusations of cheating and conspiracy theories were thrown around. Finally, the head of the IOC raised a hand for silence. "After careful consideration," she announced, her voice echoing in the now quiet chamber, "we have decided not to disqualify Wayne Holloway or the human team." A collective gasp rippled through the room, followed by a mix of cheers and protests. Wayne felt a wave of relief wash over him, but it was short-lived. "However," the IOC head continued, "we will be implementing strict sanctions. Security measures will be increased, and interactions between human and alien athletes will be limited." As the session adjourned, Wayne found himself caught in a whirlwind of activity. He was whisked away for debriefing, barely catching a glimpse of Jada being led in the opposite direction by her team. Days blurred together as Wayne returned to training under the watchful eyes of security personnel. The atmosphere in the Olympic Village had shifted dramatically. Where once there had been an air of cautious curiosity between species, now there was suspicion and unease. During a grueling practice session, Wayne noticed Marcus huddled with a striking Akamarian female he hadn't seen before. Their hushed conversation and serious expressions piqued his interest, but before he could investigate further, his attention was drawn to the long jump pit. As he prepared for his jump, Wayne caught sight of Jada on the adjacent track. She was stretching, her movements graceful and precise. Their eyes met, and in that brief moment, a world of unspoken words passed between them. Wayne channeled his emotions into his jump, pushing off with explosive force. He soared through the air, his body a perfect arc against the sky. As he landed, he knew instinctively that it was his best jump yet. His coach's jubilant shout confirmed it. "Incredible, Wayne! That's a new personal best!" As Wayne caught his breath, he noticed Jada giving him a subtle nod of approval. His heart swelled with a mix of pride and longing. Later that evening, as Wayne tinkered with his training equipment, he discovered a hidden message flashing across the display. It was from Jada, encrypted in a code they had developed during their brief encounters. "Meet me at the Galactic Unity statue. Midnight." Wayne's pulse quickened. He knew the risks, but the pull of seeing Jada again was too strong to resist. Under the cover of darkness, Wayne made his way to the massive sculpture that dominated the central plaza of the Olympic Village. Its intertwining metal strands represented the unity of different species, a poignant reminder of the ideals they all strive for. "Wayne," Jada's melodic voice came from the shadows. She stepped into view, her blue skin almost luminescent in the moonlight. They stood there, drinking in each other's presence, acutely aware of the invisible barriers between them. "I've missed you," Wayne said softly, resisting the urge to reach out and touch her. Jada's eyes shimmered with emotion. "And I you. But we must be careful. The eyes of the galaxy are upon us." As they talked in hushed tones, sharing their experiences of the past few days, Wayne felt a renewed sense of purpose. Their connection, forged in the crucible of competition and conspiracy, had become a beacon of hope in these turbulent times. A sudden noise startled them, and they quickly parted ways, disappearing into the night like ghosts. The next day brought a flurry of activity as news broke of a joint human-alien investigation into the cosmic confluence. Wayne watched from the sidelines as Marcus and the Acamarian woman he now knew as Kira Zorn led a team of investigators through the Olympic Village. As the days passed and the investigation deepened, Wayne focused on his training with renewed intensity. The silver medal in the long jump came as a surprise to many, but to Wayne, it was a testament to his drive and the strength he drew from his connection with Jada. The revelation of genetic experiments sent shockwaves through the Olympic community. Wayne found himself subjected to rigorous testing, his every move scrutinized for signs of enhancement. Through it all, he and Jada found ways to communicate, their bond growing stronger despite the obstacles. Their relationship became a symbol of hope for many, a bridge between two worlds in a time of uncertainty. As Wayne prepared for his final event, the 1,500-meter run, he knew that more than just a medal was at stake. The future of humanity's place in the galactic community hung in the balance, and he was at the center of it all. In the quiet moments before dawn, as the Olympic Village stirred to life, Wayne stood at his window, gazing at the stars. He thought of Jada, of the challenges they faced, and of the uncertain future that lay ahead. With a deep breath, he turned away from the window, ready to face whatever the day might bring. With a deep breath, he turned away from the window, ready to face whatever the day might bring. The stadium buzzed with anticipation as Wayne took his place at the starting line for the 1,500-meter run. The tension in the air was palpable, a mix of excitement and apprehension. Wayne's eyes scanned the crowd, catching sight of Jada in the stands. Her presence gave him a surge of strength. The starting gun fired, and Wayne exploded into action. His legs pumped rhythmically as he settled into his pace, surrounded by a mix of human and alien competitors. The first lap passed in a blur, Wayne's enhanced senses hyper-aware of every breath, every footfall. As they entered the second lap, Wayne found himself neck and neck with a lanky centurion, its forelegs giving it a natural advantage. Wayne dug deep, pushing his body to its limits. He could feel the changes within him, his muscles responding with uncanny efficiency. The final lap arrived, and Wayne made his move. With a burst of speed that surprised even him, he surged ahead of the pack. The crowd's roar became a dull rumble in his ears as he focused solely on the finish line. In a flash of motion and a wave of cheers, Wayne crossed the finish line first. He stumbled to a stop, chest heaving, as the reality of his victory sank in. He had done it, a gold medal for humanity. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Wayne found himself swept up in a sea of congratulations, interviews, and official proceedings. Through it all, he caught glimpses of the shock and awe on the faces of both humans and aliens alike. Hours later, as Wayne stood on the podium, the weight of the gold medal around his neck felt like more than just a personal victory. It represented a turning point for humanity's place in the galactic community. The following days brought a flurry of activity. News of Wayne's triumph spread rapidly, inspiring other human athletes to push their limits. The Galactic Sports Federation, caught off guard by the surge in human performance, announced a temporary suspension of genetic testing protocols. Wayne watched from the sidelines as human athletes began to rack up unprecedented victories. The atmosphere in the Olympic Village shifted, with alien delegations now eyeing the humans with a mix of curiosity and respect. Amidst the chaos, Wayne found a moment of respite with Jada. They met in secret, away from prying eyes. "You were incredible out there," Jada said, her eyes shining with admiration. Wayne smiled, but his expression quickly turned serious. "Things are changing fast. I'm not sure what it all means for us." Before Jada could respond, they were interrupted by the arrival of Marcus Chen and Kira Zorn. The grim expressions on their faces spoke volumes. "We need to talk," Marcus said, his voice low and urgent. "We've uncovered something big." In hushed tones, Marcus and Kira revealed their findings. The cosmic confluence, it seemed, was just a pawn in a larger game. Behind it all stood Xenocorp, a powerful alien corporation with its tentacles spread across the galaxy. "They've been manipulating events, positioning themselves to control Earth's future," Kira explained, her antennae twitching with agitation. The implications were staggering. As they discussed the evidence, the sound of distant explosions rocked the Olympic Village. Sirens blared, and shouts of panic filled the air. "Terran purists," Marcus growled, his fist clenching. "They're using the chaos to launch attacks." As they rushed to assess the situation, Commander Zorn appeared, his face a mask of relentless drive. He pulled Wayne aside, speaking in low, urgent tones. "Holloway, I need your help," Zorn said, his usual bravado replaced by a look of genuine concern. "We're putting together a team to infiltrate a Xenocorp facility. It may be our only chance to expose the truth and save these games." Wayne's mind raced. He glanced at Jada, seeing the purpose in her eyes. Without hesitation, he nodded his agreement. As they began to plan their covert operation, Wayne felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. This mission would take him far beyond the realm of athletic competition, into a dangerous world of corporate espionage and galactic politics. The team assembled quickly. Wayne, Jada, Marcus, Kira, and a select group of human and Akamarian operatives. As they boarded the stealth shuttle bound for Jupiter's moon, Wayne's thoughts turned to the challenges ahead. The shuttle's engines hummed to life, and Wayne felt a mix of anticipation and fear. As they lifted off, news of another wave of Terran purist attacks flashed across the shuttle's communication screen. Wayne's eyes met Jada's across the shuttle's cramped interior. In that moment, despite the uncertainty that lay ahead, he felt a surge of purpose. Whatever challenges they faced, they would face them together. The shuttle accelerated, leaving the troubled Olympic Village behind. As Earth shrank to a blue marble in the view screen, Wayne steeled himself for the mission ahead. The fate of two worlds now rested in their hands. The shuttle accelerated, leaving the troubled Olympic Village behind. As Earth shrank to a blue marble in the view screen, Wayne steeled himself for the mission ahead. The fate of two worlds now rested in their hands. The journey to Jupiter's moon was tense, filled with hurried preparations and strategic planning. Wayne found himself constantly aware of Jada's presence, her drive matching his own. As they approached their destination, Commander Zorn briefed the team one final time. "Remember, stealth is paramount," he said, his voice low and steady. "We're dealing with a corporation that has tentacles spread across the galaxy. One wrong move, and we're finished." The shuttle touched down silently on the moon's surface, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to Xenocorp's sensors. Wayne led the way as they disembarked, his enhanced physiology allowing him to adapt quickly to the low-gravity environment. "This way," he whispered. gesturing towards a rocky outcropping that would provide cover as they approached the facility. The team moved swiftly and silently across the alien terrain, their movements precise and coordinated. Wayne's athletic training proved invaluable as he navigated treacherous crevasses and unstable ground, always staying one step ahead to ensure the path was safe for the others. As they neared the facility's outer perimeter, Jada stepped forward, her eyes focused on the security systems before them. Her fingers danced across a handheld device, interfacing with the alien technology. "Give me a moment," she murmured, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Their security is impressive, but not impenetrable." Seconds ticked by, each one feeling like an eternity as the team held their breath. Suddenly, a soft beep emanated from Jada's device, and she smiled triumphantly. "We're in," she announced. "But we need to move quickly. I've created a temporary blind spot in their surveillance, but it won't last long." The team split into two groups as planned. Wayne caught Jada's eye as they prepared to part ways, a wordless exchange passing between them. "Be careful," he wanted to say, but instead he simply nodded, knowing she understood. Wayne and Jada moved swiftly through the facility's corridors, their footsteps echoing softly in the sterile environment. As they approached the main research laboratory, Wayne's enhanced senses picked up something unsettling. "Do you smell that?" he whispered to Jada, his nose wrinkling in disgust. Jada nodded, her expression grim. "It's the smell of unchecked experimentation. Be prepared for what we might find in there." They entered the lab cautiously, and Wayne felt his stomach lurch at the sight before them. Tanks lined the walls, filled with grotesque hybrid creatures, failed experiments that were neither fully human nor alien. Jada gasped softly beside him, her hand instinctively reaching for his. "This is monstrous," she breathed, her voice trembling with a mix of horror and anger. Wayne squeezed her hand briefly before they moved deeper into the lab. They worked quickly, gathering evidence and sabotaging ongoing experiments. As they accessed the main computer terminal, the true extent of Xenocorp's operation became clear. "They've been collecting genetic material from the Olympic athletes," Wayne said, his voice tight with anger. "Without consent. They're using us as lab rats." Jada's fingers flew across the keyboard, downloading crucial data. "We need to expose this. The entire galactic community needs to know what's happening here." Suddenly, an alarm blared through the facility, causing them both to freeze. Wayne's enhanced hearing picked up the sound of heavy footsteps approaching rapidly. "We've been made," he said urgently. "We need to move, now." They sprinted from the lab, Wayne taking point as they navigated the maze-like corridors. The sound of shouting and weapons fire grew closer, and Wayne knew they were running out of time. As they rounded a corner, they nearly collided with Marcus and Kira, who looked equally harried. "Did you get what we came for?" Marcus asked breathlessly. Kira nodded, holding up a data crystal. "Everything on Xenocorp's involvement with the cosmic confluence. But we triggered an alarm at the data hub. The whole facility is on high alert." Wayne took a quick assessment of their situation. "We need to get to the extraction point. Stay close and be ready for anything." They moved as one unit, their earlier training paying off as they covered each other's movements. Wayne's enhanced reflexes allowed him to anticipate and counter threats before they fully materialized. As they neared the exit, a group of heavily armed Xenocorp security forces cut off their path. Wayne reacted instinctively, pushing Jada behind him as energy bolts sizzled through the air. A searing pain tore through Wayne's shoulder as he shielded Jada from the barrage. He stumbled, gritting his teeth against the agony. "Wayne!" Jada cried out, her voice filled with concern and fear. Despite the pain, Wayne managed to help clear a path for the team to reach their shuttle. Once inside, Kira took the controls, her piloting skills put to the test as they fled Jupiter's moon, with Xenocorp's pursuit ships hot on their tail. As the shuttle dodged and weaved through space, Jada tended to Wayne's wound. Her touch was gentle, yet efficient, her advanced medical knowledge evident in every movement. "You shouldn't have done that," she chided softly, her eyes meeting his. Wayne managed a weak smile. "I couldn't let anything happen to you." The intensity of the moment was broken by Marcus's shout of triumph as they finally broke free of Xenocorp's pursuit, disappearing into the vastness of space. As they set course for Earth, The team began to analyze the evidence they'd gathered. The full scope of Xenocorp's plans unfolded before them, revealing a conspiracy that reached the highest levels of galactic society. Wayne, his shoulder bandaged and his body still thrumming with adrenaline, looked around at his teammates. They were battered and exhausted, but there was a fire in their eyes, a persistence to see this through to the end. As Earth grew larger in the view screen, Wayne knew that their return would mark the beginning of a new chapter, not just for him and Jada, but for humanity's place in the galaxy. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he was ready to face them head-on. The shuttle docked at the Olympic Village's spaceport, its hull still bearing scorch marks from their narrow escape. As Wayne and his team disembarked, they were met with a flurry of activity. News of their mission had already spread, and the fallout from the Xenocorp scandal was reverberating through Earth and the galactic community. Wayne winced as he stepped onto the platform, his injured shoulder a constant reminder of the dangers they had faced. Jada noticed his discomfort and moved closer, her presence a silent source of support. "Wayne Holloway," a voice called out. They turned to see a representative from the International Olympic Committee approaching, flanked by members of the Galactic Sports Federation. "We need to talk," the IOC official said, his face a mix of concern and urgency. "The situation is complicated." Over the next few hours, Wayne and his team were briefed on the rapidly evolving situation. The IOC and GSF had been locked in intense negotiations, trying to salvage what remained of the Olympic Games while addressing the Xenocorp conspiracy. "We've reached a compromise," the GSF representative explained. "The Games will resume, but with increased scrutiny and new regulations to prevent future manipulation." Wayne nodded, feeling a mix of relief and apprehension. "What does this mean for the athletes?" "It means you can compete," the IOC official said, "but things won't be quite the same." As they discussed the new measures being put in place, Wayne's communicator buzzed. It was a message from the newly formed Intergalactic Ethics Committee, requesting his testimony about the Xenocorp conspiracy. Wayne stared at the screen, his mind racing. Testifying would mean withdrawing from his remaining Olympic events. He looked up at Jada, seeing the question in her eyes. "I need to compete," he said finally. Exposing Xenocorp was crucial. But now we need to show the galaxy what humanity is capable of, on a fair playing field. Jada squeezed his hand, a gesture of understanding and support. As they left the meeting, they encountered Commander Zorn in the corridor. His usual stern expression was replaced by one of concern. "Jada," he said, his voice uncharacteristically gentle, "we need to talk." Wayne watched as Jada followed her father to a quiet corner. Their conversation was hushed, but he could see the tension in Jada's posture. When she returned, her face was troubled. "There's pressure from home," she explained. "A faction led by my cousin Zara is demanding I return immediately. They see my involvement here, with you, as a betrayal." Wayne felt a surge of protectiveness. "What will you do?" Before Jada could answer, they were interrupted by Marcus and Kira, who burst into the corridor with excitement. "You're not going to believe this," Marcus said, grinning. "They're introducing a new event, the Interspecies Relay, and guess who they want to lead Earth's team?" Wayne blinked in surprise. "Us?" Kira nodded enthusiastically. "You, Jada, Marcus, and an athlete from the methane-breathing species you helped earlier. It's meant to promote cooperation and understanding between species." As the implications sank in, Wayne felt a spark of excitement. This was an opportunity to showcase not just human abilities, but the power of interspecies collaboration. The next few days were a whirlwind of training and preparation. The team gathered in a specially designed facility that could accommodate their diverse physiological needs. Wayne found himself coordinating their efforts, drawing on skills he never knew he possessed. "All right, let's run through the handoff again," he called out, watching as Marcus sprinted towards their methane-breathing teammate, Zix. The baton exchange was awkward, with Zix's tentacle-like appendages struggling to grasp the human-designed object. Jada stepped forward, her eyes alight with an idea. "What if we modify the baton? We could create something that works for all our physiologies." Wayne nodded, impressed by her quick thinking. "Let's do it. We'll need to work fast, though. The event is in 3 days." As they worked to perfect their technique and equipment, Wayne and Jada found themselves spending more time together. Late one night, as they fine-tuned the specialized baton, their hands brushed. Wayne looked up, meeting Jada's gaze. The moment stretched between them, charged with unspoken emotions. Without a word, Wayne leaned in, his lips meeting hers. The kiss was gentle, exploratory, a crossing of boundaries, both physical and cultural. When they parted, Jada's antennae were quivering slightly. "We should focus on the relay," she said softly, but her hand remained intertwined with his. The day of the interspecies relay arrived, bringing with it a palpable tension. As Wayne led his team to the starting line, he could feel the eyes of the galaxy upon them. This was more than just a race. It was a statement about the future of interspecies relations. As they took their positions, Wayne caught sight of a group of Terran purists in the crowd, their faces twisted with disgust. He pushed the thought from his mind, focusing on the task at hand. The starting gun fired, and Wayne exploded into action. He quickly took the lead, his enhanced physiology pushing him to speeds that amazed even him. As he approached the first handoff, he could hear the crowd's roar building. Suddenly, a scream pierced the air. Wayne's enhanced senses picked up a strange odor, and he saw aliens in the crowd beginning to collapse. His mind raced, recognizing the signs of a chemical attack. Without hesitation, Wayne veered off course, sprinting towards the affected area. He could see Jada already moving, her Acamarian technology scanning the air. "It's designed to target non-human respiratory systems," she called out. "We need to contain it." Wayne nodded, his mind already formulating a plan. "Marcus, Zix, keep the crowd back. Jada, can you recalibrate your tech to neutralize the chemical?" As chaos erupted around them, Wayne and Jada worked in perfect sync. Using a combination of his enhanced strength and her advanced technology, they managed to create a containment field around the affected area. Minutes felt like hours as they fought to neutralize the threat. Wayne's lungs burned from the exertion and the lingering chemical traces, but he pushed through the pain. Finally, Jada's device beeped, signaling success. As the danger passed and medical teams moved in, Wayne found himself face-to-face with Jada. Their eyes met, a wordless communication passing between them. In that moment, surrounded by the aftermath of chaos, Wayne realized that their partnership had become something far more profound than he had ever anticipated. The thwarted attack had transformed the interspecies relay into something far more significant than a simple race. As Wayne looked around at the diverse crowd, he saw fear and suspicion giving way to gratitude and admiration. Humans and aliens alike were coming together, united by the shared experience of survival. As medical teams tended to the affected spectators, Wayne noticed a group of officials approaching. Among them was a representative from Earth's government, her expression grave yet determined. "Mr. Holloway," she said, extending her hand, "in light of recent events, we believe it's time for Earth to establish a permanent diplomatic presence in the galactic community. We'd like you to consider taking on the role of Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council." Wayne stood there, stunned by the offer. He looked at Jada, seeing a mix of pride and uncertainty in her eyes. The weight of the decision pressed down on him as he realized that accepting would mean leaving behind his athletic career and everything he had known. As the official awaited his response, Wayne found himself at a crossroads. The future of Earth's place in the galaxy hung in the balance, and his next words could shape the course of human history and interspecies relations for years to come. Wayne took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the decision on his shoulders. He looked at Jada, then back at the official. "I'm honored by the offer," he said, his voice steady, "but I need time to consider it. There's still work to be done here." The official nodded, understanding the gravity of the request. "Of course, we'll await your decision." As the group dispersed, Wayne found himself alone with Jada. The adrenaline from the thwarted attack was wearing off, leaving him acutely aware of the ache in his shoulder and the fatigue in his muscles. "That was quite an offer," Jada said, her antennae twitching slightly. Wayne nodded, still processing the implications. "It's a lot to take in, but right now I think we need to focus on finishing what we started here." Before Jada could respond, they were interrupted by a flurry of activity. A group of journalists and camera crews descended upon them, their questions overlapping in a cacophony of curiosity and excitement. "Mr. Holloway, Ms. Zorn, can you comment on your actions during the attack? Is it true that your partnership was crucial in neutralizing the threat? How do you respond to claims that your relationship represents a new era in human-alien cooperation?" Wayne blinked, taken aback by the sudden attention. He glanced at Jada, seeing his own surprise mirrored in her expression. Their partnership, which had begun as a professional arrangement, had become something more without them fully realizing it. Now, it seemed, the entire galaxy had taken notice. As they navigated through the sea of reporters, Wayne felt Jada's hand slip into his. It was a small gesture, but in that moment, it spoke volumes. They were in this together, whatever this turned out to be. Over the next few days, Wayne and Jada found themselves at the center of a media storm. Their actions during the Xenocorp mission and the interspecies relay had captured the public's imagination, turning them into unlikely symbols of interspecies cooperation. The Olympic Village buzzed with activity as the games entered their final phase. Wayne threw himself into training for his remaining events, pushing his enhanced physiology to its limits. But even as he focused on his athletic pursuits, he couldn't escape the growing attention on his relationship with Jada. One evening, as they sat in a quiet corner of the village's communal area, Jada's communicator chirped. She read the message, her antennae quivering with what Wayne had come to recognize as a mix of excitement and apprehension. "It's from the Intergalactic Ethics Committee," she said, looking up at Wayne. "They want us to participate in an experiment." Wayne leaned in, curious. What kind of experiment? Jada's eyes met his, a flicker of nervousness passing through them. "A public demonstration of human Acamarian compatibility." Wayne's eyebrows shot up. "Compatibility? As in?" Jada nodded. "Physical and emotional. They believe our partnership could be a powerful symbol of interspecies understanding." Wayne sat back, processing the implications. Part of him was intrigued by the idea, seeing it as an opportunity to further the cause of intergalactic cooperation. Another part felt a twinge of unease at the thought of putting their relationship on such public display. "What do you think?" he asked Jada, searching her alien features for clues to her thoughts. Jada was quiet for a moment, her antennae swaying gently as she considered. "I think it could be important," she said finally, "but it's not a decision to make lightly." As they discussed the pros and cons, Wayne became aware of a commotion outside. Looking out the window, he saw a group of alien tourists taking photos of the Olympic Village. It was a sight that would have been unthinkable just a few weeks ago. "Earth is changing," he murmured. Jada followed his gaze. "The whole galaxy is changing, and we're at the center of it." The next morning, Wayne woke to find the Olympic Village in a state of controlled chaos. Alien dignitaries had arrived overnight, their strange vessels dotting the skyline. The streets were filled with a mix of human and alien tourists, all eager to witness the final days of this historic Olympiad. As Wayne made his way to the training facilities, he overheard snippets of conversation in a dozen different languages. Holographic displays showcased new joint ventures between human and alien businesses. The air buzzed with excitement and possibility. But not everyone welcomed these changes. As Wayne rounded a corner, he came face to face with a small group of protesters. Their signs bore xenophobic slogans, their faces twisted with fear and anger. "Humans only!" one of them shouted, his voice laden with disgust. Wayne felt a surge of disappointment. Despite all the progress they'd made, there were still those who clung to fear and ignorance. As he pushed past the protesters, he spotted a familiar face in the crowd. It was Marcus, engaged in an animated conversation with a group of alien tourists. Nearby, Kira was demonstrating human dance moves to a fascinated methane breather. Wayne couldn't help but smile. For every voice of intolerance, there were dozens more embracing this new era of interspecies cooperation. Entering the training facility, Wayne found Jada waiting for him. Her expression was troubled, her antennae drooping slightly. "What's wrong?" he asked, immediately concerned. Jada sighed. "I just received a message from home. There's pressure for me to return." Wayne felt a knot form in his stomach. "Because of us?" Jada nodded. "A faction led by my cousin Zara sees our relationship as a threat to Acamarian genetic purity. They're citing some ancient law about royal bloodlines. Wayne's mind raced, trying to find a solution. Can't your father do something? A small smile played on Jada's lips. He's already challenging it in the Akamarian High Court. It seems he's more supportive of us than I expected. Relief washed over Wayne, followed quickly by grit. We'll figure this out, he said, taking her hand. Together. As they began their training session, Wayne's mind wandered to the Intergalactic Ethics Committee's proposal. The idea of publicly demonstrating their compatibility was daunting, but perhaps it was exactly what was needed to combat the kind of prejudice they were facing. Later that day, as Wayne was leaving the training facility, he was approached by a group of scientists. They introduced themselves as the team responsible for designing the compatibility experiment. Mr. Holloway, one of them said, her eyes gleaming with excitement. We've been analyzing the data from your interactions with Ms. Zorn, and we've made some fascinating discoveries about human and Akamarian neurobiology. Wayne listened intently as the scientists explained their findings. The similarities they had uncovered were surprising, suggesting that interspecies relationships might be more viable than anyone had previously thought. As the implications of this discovery sank in, Wayne felt a mix of emotions: excitement at the possibilities, apprehension about the attention it would bring, and a deep growing certainty about his feelings for Jada. The next few days passed in a blur of training, meetings, and preparations. Wayne and Jada underwent a series of evaluations, each one revealing new facets of their compatibility. The media frenzy around them intensified, with reporters from across the galaxy clamoring for interviews. Finally, the day of the experiment arrived. As Wayne and Jada entered the specially constructed biodome, he could feel the eyes of millions watching through the live broadcast. The air inside was carefully calibrated to suit both their physiologies, a tangible symbol of the bridge they were building between their species. They began with simple demonstrations of physical compatibility, showing how their different bodies could work in harmony. As they moved on to more intimate interactions, Wayne felt a heightened awareness of every point of contact between them. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Wayne's enhanced senses picked up a shift in the air quality. Something was wrong with the environmental controls. "Jada," he called out, his voice tight with concern. "Are you okay?" Jada nodded, her antennae twitching rapidly as she assessed the situation. "The atmosphere is changing. We need to get out of here," Wayne said, his voice urgent but steady. He reached for Jada's hand, guiding her towards the exit. As they approached the door, it hissed open, revealing a team of technicians rushing in with portable atmospheric regulators. Wayne and Jada stumbled out of the biodome, gasping for air. "Are you both all right?" A concerned scientist approached them, scanners in hand. Wayne nodded, still catching his breath. "We're fine. What happened in there?" The scientist's face was grim. "Sabotage. Someone tampered with the environmental controls." Before they could discuss further, a crowd of reporters swarmed around them, cameras flashing and questions flying. Wayne instinctively stepped in front of Jada, shielding her from the onslaught. "Mr. Holloway, Ms. Zorn, how do you respond to claims that this incident proves the dangers of human-alien integration?" Wayne opened his mouth to reply, but a booming voice cut through the chaos. "That's enough!" It was Marcus, pushing through the crowd with a team of security personnel. "Give them some space." As the reporters were ushered away, Wayne felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned to see the Earth government representative who had offered him the ambassador position. "Mr. Holloway, Ms. Zorn," she said, her voice low and urgent. "We need to talk. Now." They were quickly escorted to a secure room within the Olympic complex. Inside, holographic displays showed news feeds from across the galaxy, all featuring Wayne and Jada's experiment. "The Galactic Council has been watching," the representative explained. "They're impressed, very impressed. So much so that they've decided to accelerate Earth's integration into the galactic community." Wayne and Jada exchanged glances, their earlier ordeal momentarily forgotten. "What does that mean exactly?" Jada asked, her antennae twitching with curiosity. The representative's face broke into a smile. "It means, Ms. Zorn, that we're about to make history. The Council is announcing the establishment of an intergalactic cultural exchange program with Earth as its first participant. Wayne felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. And where do we fit into this? You, Mr. Holloway, are being appointed as the program's ambassador. Your actions, your partnership with Jada, have made you the face of human-alien relations. The weight of the responsibility settled on Wayne's shoulders. He looked at Jada, seeing his own mix of emotions reflected in her alien features. This is a crucial step for humanity, the representative continued. But it comes with some sacrifices. Wayne, accepting this position means withdrawing from your remaining Olympic events. Wayne felt a pang of disappointment, but it was quickly overshadowed by the magnitude of what was being offered. I understand, he said, his voice firm. I'll do it. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. News of Wayne's appointment spread quickly, causing a stir among athletes and spectators alike. Some expressed disappointment at losing a top competitor, while others recognized the importance of his new role. As Wayne prepared for his new responsibilities, Jada was struck by inspiration. She approached him one evening, her eyes gleaming with excitement. Wayne, I've been thinking, she said, her antennae quivering. What if we could create something lasting from all this? A joint human-Acamarian research facility, right here on Earth. Wayne's eyes widened at the idea. That's brilliant, Jada. But would your people agree to it? Jada's expression turned determined. I'm going to propose it to the Acamarian High Council. It won't be easy, but I think I can convince them of the potential benefits. As Jada worked on her proposal, Earth experienced an unprecedented surge of alien tourism. Major cities scrambled to accommodate the influx of extraterrestrial visitors, leading to rapid advancements in xenobiology and adaptive architecture. Wayne found himself at the center of this transformation. As the face of the cultural exchange program, he was constantly in demand for interviews, public appearances, and diplomatic meetings. He and Jada agreed to participate in a series of public forums, sharing their experiences and promoting interspecies understanding. Their openness about the challenges and rewards of their relationship helped normalize the concept of human-alien partnerships. However, not everyone welcomed these changes. During one public appearance, Wayne noticed a group of protesters holding signs with xenophobic slogans. Among them, he spotted a face that looked strikingly similar to Jada's. Jada, he whispered, nodding towards the group. Is that? Jada's antennae drooped slightly. My cousin Zara, she confirmed, her voice tight. She's leading a faction against human-Acamarian relations. As they watched, Zara began addressing the crowd, her voice carrying across the plaza. We must protect our genetic purity. These so-called partnerships will lead to the degradation of our species. Wayne felt Jada tense beside him. He squeezed her hand reassuringly. We'll face this together, he said softly. Later that day, they received news that the International Olympic Committee had announced the creation of a permanent intergalactic Olympic village on Earth. It was a clear sign that the planet was cementing its position as a neutral ground for future galactic sporting events and diplomatic meetings. As Wayne and Jada prepared for their next public appearance, they were approached by a team of scientists, excitement evident in their faces. Mr. Holloway, Miss Zorn, the lead scientist said, barely containing her enthusiasm. We've made an incredible discovery while studying your interactions. There's a previously unknown biochemical process that occurs when humans and Acamarians interact closely. It seems to enhance cognitive functions and physical performance in both species. Wayne and Jada exchanged surprised glances. This discovery could have far-reaching implications for interspecies cooperation. As they discussed the findings, Wayne's communicator buzzed. It was a message from the Galactic Council. They were requesting Wayne and Jada's participation in a televised forum to address the growing tensions surrounding rapid galactic integration. Wayne looked at Jada, seeing the same purpose in her eyes that he felt. They both knew that their words and actions at this forum could shape the future of intergalactic relations. As they began preparing for the forum, another message arrived. This one was for Jada, from the Acamarian High Council. She read it quickly, her antennae quivering with excitement. Wayne, she said, her voice filled with joy. They've approved my proposal for the joint research facility. Wayne pulled her into an embrace, feeling a surge of hope for the future. As they stood there, united in their triumph, they knew that the upcoming forum would be just the beginning of their journey to bridge the gap between their worlds. Species and worlds. As they made their way to the forum's grand amphitheater, Wayne felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, but Jada's presence by his side steadied him. They entered the vast chamber, marveling at its design. The amphitheater was a marvel of xeno-architecture, with seating arrangements that accommodated a wide variety of alien physiologies. Representatives from dozens of species filled the room, their diverse forms creating a kaleidoscope of colors and shapes. Wayne and Jada took their places at the central podium, facing the assembled delegates. As the forum commenced, Wayne cleared his throat and began his address. Esteemed representatives, we gather here today to discuss the future of galactic cooperation and integration. Our experiences have shown us the immense potential that lies in working together across species lines. Jada stepped forward, her antennae twitching slightly as she spoke. We've discovered that human-Acamarian interactions lead to enhanced cognitive functions and physical performance in both species. This is just one example of the benefits we can unlock through closer cooperation. Their words sparked intense debate among the delegates. Some voiced enthusiastic support, while others expressed skepticism and concern. The atmosphere grew tense as arguments heated up between pro-integration and isolationist factions. Suddenly, the proceedings were interrupted by an urgent message. A holographic display flickered to life in the center of the amphitheater, showing a massive asteroid hurtling towards Earth. Wayne's communicator buzzed with an incoming transmission from Earth's Defense Command. Ambassador Holloway, our systems are unable to handle this threat. We need immediate assistance. Without hesitation, Wayne stepped into action. Representatives, we have an opportunity to put our words into action. Earth faces an imminent threat, and we need your help. He quickly outlined a plan to assemble a joint human-alien response team. To his relief, many of the delegates volunteered their expertise and resources. Within minutes, a diverse group of specialists was mobilizing to address the crisis. Wayne and Jada led the team to a nearby hangar, where they found a collection of advanced alien spacecraft waiting. As they boarded the lead ship, Wayne marveled at the smooth integration of various technologies from different species. The team launched into space, racing against time to intercept the asteroid. As they approached the massive rock, Jada's eyes widened. Its composition is unlike anything I've seen before. No wonder Earth's systems didn't detect it earlier. Working together, the team began constructing a makeshift deflection device. Human engineers collaborated with alien technicians, combining Earth's practical problem-solving with advanced extraterrestrial theories. Wayne coordinated the efforts, his experience as an athlete helping him manage the high-pressure situation. As they deployed the device, tension filled the air. Wayne held his breath as the asteroid drew closer. Suddenly, the deflector activated, enveloping the space rock in a shimmering field of energy. Slowly but surely, the asteroid's trajectory began to shift. Cheers erupted both on the ship and back on Earth as the threat passed safely by, missing the planet by a comfortable margin. Wayne felt a surge of pride and relief wash over him. This collaborative effort had not only saved Earth, but had also demonstrated the power of galactic cooperation. Upon their return, Wayne and Jada found themselves at the center of a media frenzy. News of the successful asteroid deflection had spread across the galaxy, dramatically shifting public opinion in favor of Earth's integration into the wider galactic community. The Galactic Council, impressed by Earth's handling of the crisis, announced an acceleration of the planet's membership process. Wayne was appointed as chief liaison to the newly established permanent galactic embassy on Earth, a role that would place him at the forefront of interstellar diplomacy. As the final days of the Olympic Games approached, a new energy filled the air. Inspired by the asteroid incident, the organizers hastily arranged a series of interspecies events. Wayne watched in awe as athletes from various worlds competed side by side, their unique abilities complementing each other in ways never before seen. Jada's proposed joint human-Acamarian research facility received unanimous approval, with construction set to begin immediately. Plans were already underway to expand it into a full-fledged intergalactic university, a testament to the rapidly changing landscape of Earth's place in the galaxy. However, not everyone welcomed these changes. As Wayne and Jada made their way to a press conference, they encountered a group of protesters. Signs bearing xenophobic slogans filled the air, and Wayne recognized some of the faces from both human and Akamarian isolationist groups. Zara, Jada's cousin, stood at the forefront of the protest. Her voice carried over the crowd as she shouted, "We must protect our genetic purity. This rapid integration threatens the very essence of who we are." Wayne felt Jada tense beside him. He gave her hand a reassuring squeeze as they pushed through the crowd, ignoring the shouts and jeers. Despite the opposition, they remained committed to their vision of a more united galaxy. As they prepared for the Olympic closing ceremony, Wayne received news of his appointment to the newly formed Intergalactic Olympic Council. The role would allow him to continue promoting interspecies cooperation through sport, a prospect that excited him greatly. The closing ceremony was a spectacle unlike any other. Athletes from countless worlds paraded together, their differences celebrated rather than divided. As Wayne and Jada watched from the stands, they felt a sense of pride in how far they had come. Yet as they looked at each other, they knew that their journey was not nearly finished. The challenges of balancing their public roles with their desire for a private life loomed large. But for now, they allowed themselves to enjoy this moment of triumph, a small step towards a more united galaxy. As the Olympic flame was extinguished, marking the end of the historic games, Wayne and Jada stood hand in hand, gazing at the spectacle before them. The closing ceremony had been a kaleidoscope of interstellar cultures, a fitting finale to an event that had redefined Earth's place in the galactic community. The euphoria of the moment was quickly replaced by a sense of purpose, as they received an urgent communication from the newly formed Intergalactic Olympic Council. The council, recognizing the couple's pivotal role in fostering human-alien relations, had appointed them as co-chairs of a groundbreaking committee dedicated to promoting interspecies cooperation through sports. "This is our chance to build on the momentum we've created," Wayne said, his eyes alight with excitement. Jada's antennae quivered in agreement. "We can use this platform to showcase the true potential of interspecies collaboration." Their first major project was ambitious, a post-Olympic exhibition tour that would bring together the galaxy's finest athletes in unprecedented team events. The couple dove headfirst into the preparations, their days filled with a whirlwind of activity. Wayne found himself in marathon meetings with athletes from dozens of worlds, each session a crash course in xenobiology as he learned about their unique physical capabilities and limitations. Meanwhile, Jada worked tirelessly with a team of xeno-engineers, designing adaptive equipment that would allow for fair competition across vastly different physiologies. Late one night, as they pored over holographic schematics for a multi-species obstacle course, Wayne noticed Jada's antenna drooping with fatigue. He gently pulled her away from the workstation. "We've been at this for hours," he said softly. "Let's take a break." As they relaxed on the balcony of their apartment, overlooking the glittering skyline of New York City, their conversation drifted from work to more personal matters. The intimacy of the moment led them to discuss the physical aspects of their relationship, a topic they had approached with caution until now. "I've been thinking," Jada said, her voice tinged with nervousness. "Perhaps we could explore more." Wayne felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Are you sure it's safe? Our physiologies are so different." Jada's antenna twitched playfully. "That's what makes it an adventure, doesn't it?" Their exploration of intimacy became a journey of discovery, not just for them, but for the scientific community as well. Researchers, with the couple's consent, studied the unique biochemical reactions that occurred during their intimate moments. The findings led to breakthroughs in xenobiology, paving the way for new medical treatments that benefited both humans and Akamarians. As the launch date for the exhibition tour approached, Wayne and Jada barely had time to catch their breath. The final preparations were a frenzy of activity, with last-minute adjustments to equipment and event schedules. The tour kicked off with a spectacular event in Central Park. The normally serene green space had been transformed into a dazzling arena, with holographic displays and gravity-defying structures, accommodating the needs of various alien species. As Wayne and Jada took to the field for the opening ceremony, They were struck by the sheer diversity of the crowd. Humans stood shoulder to tentacle with beings from across the galaxy, all united in their anticipation of the spectacle to come. The events that followed were unlike anything Earth had ever seen. In one arena, a team comprising a human gymnast, an Akamarian acrobat, and a gelatinous Zorgon worked in perfect harmony to navigate a three-dimensional maze. In another, athletes from 5 different species engaged in a game that combined elements of water polo, zero-gravity tag, and telepathic strategy. Wayne and Jada's on-field chemistry became the highlight of the tour. Their performance in a hybrid relay race, which required seamless coordination between their vastly different physiologies, left the audience in awe. The global viewership numbers shattered all previous records, with billions tuning in across the galaxy. However, the tour's smooth sailing hit turbulent waters as they prepared for their next stop in a more conservative region of Earth. Local authorities, influenced by Terran purist rhetoric, attempted to ban the event, citing concerns about alien influence on human culture. Wayne's diplomatic skills were put to the test as he negotiated with the local government. He spent long hours in tense meetings, carefully navigating the delicate balance between respecting local concerns and advocating for the tour's mission of unity. Meanwhile, Jada took a different approach. She launched a grassroots campaign, organizing community outreach programs that allowed locals to interact with alien athletes in casual settings. Her efforts paid off as public opinion began to shift, with many residents speaking out in support of the tour. The night before the event was scheduled to begin, Wayne and Jada received word that the ban had been lifted. As they watched the sun rise over the city, they knew they had won a significant victory against xenophobic sentiments. The success of the tour caught the attention of Jada's cousin Zara, the leader of the Akamarian isolationist faction. Her arrival on Earth, ostensibly to observe the events, sent a ripple of unease through Wayne and Jada. Their fears were realized when Zara launched a smear campaign against them, releasing doctored footage that appeared to show the couple engaging in culturally insensitive behavior. The scandal threatened to unravel all the progress they had made in human-alien relations. As they huddled with their team to discuss damage control strategies, Wayne's gaze met Jada's. In that moment, they knew what they had to do. "We need to show them the truth," Jada said, her voice steady despite the gravity of her suggestion. Wayne nodded, understanding the implications. A public mind meld. The decision to undergo the controversial Akamarian procedure was not taken lightly. It would expose their most private thoughts and emotions to the galaxy at large. But as they prepared for the broadcast that would change their lives forever, Wayne and Jada knew it was the only way to combat the lies threatening to tear them apart. As the mind meld began, they held on to each other, ready to face whatever came next. As the mind meld began, Wayne and Jada held on to each other, ready to face whatever came next. The experience was intense, their thoughts and emotions intertwining in a kaleidoscope of memories and sensations. When it ended, they emerged stronger, their bond deepened by the shared vulnerability. The public response was overwhelmingly positive. The authenticity of their relationship and their unwavering commitment to interspecies cooperation shone through, effectively silencing their detractors. In the aftermath, Wayne and Jada found themselves thrust into an even more prominent role as symbols of unity in the galaxy. Months passed, and as the dust settled from their tumultuous journey, Wayne and Jada began to consider their future together. The logical next step seemed clear: marriage. However, this was no ordinary union. It would be the first official human Akamarian bonding ceremony, an event that would once again place them at the center of galactic attention. As the date approached, the intergalactic university campus buzzed with activity. The newly constructed facilities, a testament to the rapid progress of Earth's integration into the galactic community, served as the perfect backdrop for this historic event. Delegates from across the galaxy descended upon the campus, their varied forms and colorful attire creating a vibrant tapestry of interstellar diversity. The grand biodome chosen as the ceremony venue was a marvel of bioengineering. Its transparent dome allowed the soft light of Earth's sun to filter through, while carefully maintained atmospheric controls ensured comfort for both human and Akamarian guests. Inside, a harmonious blend of terrestrial and extraterrestrial flora created a breathtaking setting. Roses and orchids intertwined with bioluminescent Acamarian plants, their gentle glow pulsing in time with the ambient music. On the morning of the ceremony, Wayne and Jada met in a private chamber for a ritual that combined elements from both their cultures. Wayne, dressed in a sleek suit with subtle Acamarian design elements, watched in awe as Jada entered. Her gown, a flowing creation that seemed to shimmer with an inner light, incorporated both human and Acamarian aesthetics. They stood before a small altar, hands clasped. An elder from each of their worlds guided them through the ritual, their voices blending in a hypnotic chant. The couple exchanged rings, marveling at the advanced technology that allowed the bands to adapt to their distinct physiologies. As the rings slid into place, they glowed softly, symbolizing the unbreakable bond between them. As they prepared to make their entrance, a commotion outside caught their attention. A small group of Terran purists had attempted to breach the security perimeter. Wayne tensed, ready to intervene, but Jada placed a calming hand on his arm. "Look," she said, her antennae twitching in amusement. Through the window, they watched as a joint security team of humans and aliens swiftly and efficiently neutralized the threat. The would-be disruptors were quickly escorted away, their efforts barely causing a ripple in the proceedings. "I guess that's what we call effective interspecies cooperation," Wayne chuckled, feeling a surge of pride. The ceremony itself was a spectacle that would be remembered for generations. As Wayne and Jada made their entrance, a hush fell over the diverse crowd. Beings from across the galaxy stood side by side, united in their desire to witness this unprecedented union. The officiant, a respected diplomat from a neutral species known for their wisdom and impartiality, stood at the center of the biodome. As Wayne and Jada approached, holographic displays activated, providing real-time translation in multiple languages. "We gather here today," the officiant began, their melodious voice carrying across the dome, "to celebrate not just the union of two individuals, but the joining of two worlds, two cultures, and the promise of a brighter future for us all." Wayne and Jada exchanged vows, their words a testament to their journey together. They spoke of their first meeting at the Olympics, the challenges they had overcome, and their shared vision for the future. As they sealed their union with a kiss, an unexpected wave of bioluminescence swept through the venue. The Acamarian plants pulsed with vibrant colors, creating a dazzling light show that left the guests in awe. The celebration that followed was a joyous blend of cultures and traditions. Athletes from the exhibition tour demonstrated their hybrid sports, their performances drawing gasps and applause from the crowd. In another corner, scientists presented their latest findings on human-alien compatibility, their enthusiasm infectious as they explained the potential for further cooperation. As the reception reached its peak, Wayne and Jada took center stage once more. The crowd fell silent, anticipating another milestone announcement. "Today marks not just the beginning of our life together," Wayne began, his voice strong and clear. Jada continued, her antenna quivering with excitement, "but also the start of a new chapter in interspecies cooperation." Together, they revealed their plans for the first human Acamarian cooperative colony on a newly discovered habitable planet. The announcement was met with thunderous applause, the guests recognizing the significance of this bold initiative. As the celebration wound down, Wayne and Jada prepared for their departure. They said their goodbyes to family and friends, including once skeptical relatives, who now beamed with pride at the couple's achievements. Hand in hand, they boarded their honeymoon vessel, a sleek ship designed to accommodate both their species. As Earth grew smaller in the viewing port, they stood in comfortable silence, reflecting on their incredible journey. "Ready for our next adventure?" Wayne asked, giving Jada's hand a gentle squeeze. Jada's antennae brushed against his cheek in a gesture of affection. "With you? Always." The ship's faster-than-light drive engaged, propelling them towards the unknown. As the familiar stars blurred into streaks of light, Wayne and Jada embraced, their hearts full of hope and excitement for the future they would build together.
If you finished this story, please subscribe and like the video. Then leave a comment that says, "I liked the story," and I will heart every single one of them. It really helps me. Thank you for your time.